Many people spend their lives brooding problems, as repeating the difficulties several times was a magical solution. Stoicism teaches the opposite. Spending energy on what cannot be changed is waste. What really matters is directing your attention to what is within your reach. Instead of complaining that you are out of time, review your priorities. Instead of despairing with a mistake, ask yourself, what can I learn and improve from it? The trained mind to seek solutions becomes more resilient and efficient. Imagine a boat in the middle of a storm. An experienced sailor wastes no time cursing the wind. He adjusts the candles. In life, the principle is the same. When an obstacle arises, your choice is between complaining or acting. Stoicism encourages this practical mindset, accepting what cannot be changed and turn challenges into opportunities. An effective way to develop this habit is to replace complaints with concrete actions. Are you tired? Adjust your rest routine. Are you unsure? Improve your skills. Problems will arise, this is inevitable, but their reaction to them defines their trajectory. As Seneca says, it's not because things are difficult that we don't dare, it's because we don't dare that they are difficult. We live in a society that idolizes the constant occupation. The fuller your schedule is, the more successful you seem to be. But does this mean to be really productive? Stoicism teaches us that efficiency comes from the quality of actions, not quantity. Always being busy without a clear purpose only leads to exhaustion. Instead of running in all directions, ask yourself, am I busy or am I being effective? True progress happens when we work with focus and intentionality. A lumberjack who never sharpens his axe works more but produces less. Similarly, if your mind is overwhelmed, your decisions will be worse, your creativity will decrease, and your performance will fall. Calm down is not a luxury, it is a competitive differential. Stoics knew this and practiced the discipline of tranquility, acting without despair, maintaining clarity, and making strategic decisions. If you believe you need to be stressed to produce, try otherwise. Take strategic breaks, organize your routine, and eliminate unnecessary tasks. Seneca said that the hurry is the enemy of wisdom, and he was right. Real productivity does not come from chaos, but from serenity applied to action. After all, those who control your mind control your results. An overloaded mind becomes your own enemy. When we are jammed in worries, our ability to make smart decisions plummeted. Stoicism teaches us that mental clarity is an essential pillar for wisdom. If you already felt that your head was so full that you couldn't reason it right, be aware that this is not a personal defect, but a sign that your mind needs space. The solution? Reduce mental noise and cultivate internal silence. Science already proves that calm improves memory, creativity, and decision-making. Think of the brain like a lake. When the waters are agitated, nothing is clear. But when they get serene, everything becomes visible. Techniques such as deep breathing and mindfulness are not just modern trends, they are proven practices to restore focus. Stoics practiced contemplation and reflective writing to organize thoughts and avoid unnecessary anxiety. Want a simple method for training your mind? Reserve a few minutes of the day for absolute silence. It can be soon upon waking or before bed. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and observe your thoughts without judgment. It sounds simple, but this practice strengthens its self-control. After all, if you can't calm your own mind, how do you expect to command your life? How many times have you said or did something in the heat of the moment and regret it later? Impulsive reactions usually lead to unnecessary conflicts and bad decisions. Stoics understood this and taught the importance of pausing before acting. Between stimulus and response, there is a small space, and it is in this interval that your power lives. Breathing before reacting is an act of emotional control and strategic intelligence. An effective technique for avoiding emotional explosions is the 3-second rule. When something irritates you, take a deep breath and count up to 3 before answering. This little delay can prevent you from making a decision that would later be hasty. Marco Aurelio, one of the great exponents of Stoicism, wrote daily about the importance of not being a slave to their own emotions, but their master. Training this skill requires practice, but the benefits are immense. The next time you want to respond to an impulsive provocation, try holding back the reaction for a moment. The more you exercise this control, the stronger it becomes. True strength is not in reacting quickly, but consciously choosing the best answer. A lot of people confuse patience with passivity, but they are completely different things. In Stoicism, patience does not mean accepting everything without acting, but knowing how to wait for the right time to make decisions. It is the ability not to despair at challenges and act with strategy, without haste and without panic. After all, what's the use of running if the way is wrong? Patience allows you to take attitudes wisely, not on impulse. The practice of daily reflection is one of the secrets to strengthen this ability. Stoics wrote about their days, analyzed their actions, and learned from the mistakes. This habit helps to understand that not everything needs an immediate answer. Seneca said that anger is a fire that consumes first who feels it. That is, if you lose patience frequently, it ends up spending energy on things that are not worth it. The next time you want to react fast, take the test, stop for a few seconds, and ask yourself if it really deserves your attention. Many situations are solved alone if we just wait a while. Patience is not weakness, it is power. Knowing how to wait for the right time to be the difference between failure and success. Small outbreaks of anger can cause great damage. A word dictated in the heat of the moment can shake friendships, relationships, and even professional opportunities. Stoics knew that keeping calm is essential to building healthy relationships. When you learn to react with serenity, your communication becomes more effective and your interactions more harmonious. After all, who would not want to deal with someone who transmits balance instead of impulsiveness? The key to this is to replace automatic reactions with conscious responses. Instead of responding to a criticism with irritation, try to take a deep breath and analyze the situation rationally. Is it worth entering a conflict? What can be solved with a quiet conversation? Marco Aurelio reminds us that we should not allow the anger of others to determine our actions. In other words, if someone is acting irrationally, the best strategy is not to be contaminated. Want to improve your personal relationships? Practice the active listening. Instead of just waiting for your turn to speak, try to really understand what the other person is saying. Empathy combined with emotional control is a powerful tool for resolving conflicts and strengthening ties. Remember, words can hurt or heal, and the choice is always in your hands. Life is full of challenges, and things do not always happen as we plan. Given the difficulties, there are two options if you despair or face the situation with rationality. Stoicism teaches us that we cannot control everything, but we can control as we react. True resilience is not in avoiding problems, but in accepting them and turning them into learning. Those who dominate their emotions have more power over their lives. When something goes wrong, ask yourself, is this under my control? If the answer is no, accept and move on. If so, act calmly in strategy. Stoic does not spend energy lamenting the past or fearing the future. He focuses on the present, seeking solutions. Seneca said that we suffered more in imagination than in reality. Often our suffering comes more of our resistance to change than change in itself. Training emotional control requires practice, but each small victory strengthens its mindset. The next time you feel angry or frustration, take a deep breath and watch your emotions without being carried away by them. This simple habit can change your life. After all, those who have mastery over themselves become unshakable in the face of circumstances. Living with purpose requires discipline. In Stoicism, true power is not in mastering others, but in mastering yourself. Those who control their impulses and habits build a more balanced and productive life. Discipline is not a burden, but a tool to achieve what really matters. If you want to win something lasting, you need to learn to say no to distractions and yes to what strengthens your mindset. The secret is in small daily decisions. Waking up at the right time, maintaining a learning routine, avoiding excess stimuli you choose strengthens or weakens your self-control. Epictetus taught that we should focus on what depends on us and act with consistency. When you get the habit of fulfilling your responsibilities, even when it is not motivated, the discipline becomes part of your identity. Want to train your discipline? Start with simple challenges, such as waking up at the same time every day or reducing time on social networks. The mind is strengthened through repetition. Each small act of self-control is one more step in building a strong and resilient character. In the end, true freedom comes from self-control, not the absence of rules. Not everything in life happens as we want, and fight against the inevitable only generates suffering. Stoicism teaches to accept reality as it is without useless resistance. This idea is known as love fati, which means love fate. It is not just about tolerating events, but of embracing them as part of our growth. After all, everything that happens to us can be a learning opportunity if we have the right mindset. Marco Aurelio wrote that what happens, happens for good. It may seem difficult to see this way when we are facing failure or loss, but reflecting on this perspective changes everything. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" try to ask, "How can I learn from it?" Acceptance is not conformism, but intelligence. It is acting on what we can change and have serenity in the face of what we cannot. Want to put love fati into practice? Whenever something unexpected happens, take a deep breath and see what can be done with it. Did you lose a flight? Perhaps it has gained time to reflect. Did a plan fail? It may be a chance to redirect your efforts to something even better. Those who accept fate does not become the victim of events, but protagonist of the story itself. The Stoic mindset does not arise overnight. She needs to be trained. Just as we strengthen the body with exercise, we strengthen our minds with daily practices. Stoics use techniques such as negative visualization, where they imagine possible challenges before they happened. This is not pessimism, but preparation. When you anticipate difficulties, nothing gets you off guard. You act with emotional control, without despair. Another powerful exercise is rational distancing. Instead of being carried away by immediate emotions, try to find yourself from outside as if you were an observer of life. Ask yourself, how would a Stoic react to this situation? This technique helps to avoid impulsive reactions and make wiser decisions. Epictetus taught that it is not the events that affect us, but the interpretation we give them. This means that with training, we can shape our answers to be more resilient. Want to strengthen your mindset? Start each day with a Stoic reflection. Read a phrase from Seneca, Marco Aurelio, or Epictetus and think about how to apply it. Before bed, review your actions. Did you react with rationality? Could you have dealt with any situation better? Small habits like these, when constantly practiced, transform their way of seeing and living life. Living the Stoic principles in the modern world may seem challenging, but in fact they are more necessary than ever. In a world full of distractions, pressures, and rapid change, Stoicism offers an anchor of wisdom. Stoic philosophy teaches us to keep calm in chaos, focus on what we can control, and cultivate a resilient mindset, regardless of circumstances. In the workplace, for example, Stoicism helps us maintain focus on the goal, without losing ourselves in the uncertainties and distractions of everyday life. One of the greatest lessons of Stoicism in the digital age is control over social networks. We are constantly bombarded by information, opinions, and comparisons. Stoic knows that it should not be consumed by this flood of stimuli. Instead of reacting impulsively, he practices rational distancing. Is this really adding me, or just occupying my time? Applying this mindset in the use of technologies can give us more clarity and productivity. Stoicism also applies to personal relationships, especially in times of polarization and extreme opinions. How to keep serenity when everyone around you seems to be at war? The answer is in self-control. Instead of reacting to others, we can choose our answer. Instead of trying to change others, we change ourselves. In this way, we are able to maintain our inner peace and act with rationality, regardless of the scenario around us. Now that you have known the principles of Stoicism and how they can be applied in your life, it's time to reflect. How can you use calm, patience, and emotional control to improve your daily life? What could change if you reacted more rationally, focused, and conscious in the face of challenges? It's time to put these ideas into practice and transform your mindset. Remember, we are not talking about perfection, but progress. Each small change in the way you react to everyday situations can make a big difference in your balance and success. So how about starting now? What are the first steps you can take to apply Stoicism to your life? If you like this content and want to learn more about how Stoic philosophy can transform your life, subscribe to the channel and enable notifications to lose anything. Let's go together on this journey of wisdom, self-control, and resilience.